Now that we've looked at the quadrantal angles, we're going to look at angles that would fall in the other quadrants. In the future, so we're going to draw them right now. In the future, you're going to be doing this with the unit circle. So our steps are going to be, first, draw your angle in standard position. So you still need to know your quadrantal angles. 135 is going to be in the second quadrant, right in the middle. This is kind of a combination of the unit circle stuff and the right triangle problems. We're now going to make a triangle with this and put like a dummy theta in that spot there to help us with listing out our values. Now, if I think about doing 180 minus 135, the angle inside there is actually 45 degrees. So I apologize for writing that in there. I'm going to replace that with 45, which makes this a 45, 45, 90 right triangle. So you should know your values for that. This would be 1, 1, and root 2. Now we are going to revise this again in the future with the unit circle information. So we've done angle in standard position. We made a right triangle with the x-axis. We determined the angle. Now we want to fill in the correct plus or minus signs. So since this is going left and up, this would be a -1. This is my adjacent, opposite, hypotenuse. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, which would be 1 over root 2. Just like we did with the right triangle stuff, you want to rationalize that to end up getting root 2 over 2. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Cosine is negative 1 over root 2, and then when we rationalize, we'll get the negative root 2 over 2. And then tangent is opposite over adjacent, 1 over -1, or just -1. So again, noticing that we get 2 negatives and a positive when we were in quadrants other than quadrant 1. All right, our next two are going to involve either the 30 or the 60 degree option. So here, again, let's label this 0, 90, 180, 270. 240 is going to end up in the third quadrant here. Now I'm not going to draw in, so this is the whole angle here. That's going to get in the way of my triangle, so I'm going to hit undo on that and get rid of it. I will make a triangle with the x-axis that I'm closest to, so with the axis that has the 180 degrees. If this entire angle is 240, that means that inside of here would be 60 degrees. And you can get that by doing 240 minus 180. If that's 60, then this one is 30. So across from 30 is 1, across from 60 is root 3, and across from 90 is 2. Both of these will be negative because we're going left and down. Adjacent, opposite, hypotenuse. Remember, the theta is always the angle made with the x-axis. So for sine, we're going to do negative root 3 over 2. We don't need to rationalize for that, which is nice. For cosine, it will be negative 1 over 2. And then for tangent, it's going to be opposite over adjacent. So we're going to do negative root 3 over -1. Because of the double negative, we're going to make that into a positive root 3. And then our last one, so technically that is the 60 degree angle that we're focusing in on. It's something called a reference angle. Again, things that you're going to be looking at in the future, but I'm just kind of introducing you to now. For this next angle, we have to go all the way around with our labels. So 330 is going to fall in this quadrant right here. I can draw my arc for this because it's on the outside of the triangle. So when I sketch my triangle in here, to figure out the angle that's in the inside space of that little Pac-Man mouth would be 30, because it takes us another 30 degrees to get to the 360, which means this is our 60. So this will be negative because it's going down 1. Across from 60 would be root 3, but it's positive because it's going to the right. And then across from 90 is 2. So you'll notice that for 2 and 3, it's essentially the same triangle, but it's just a different angle that's being made with the x-axis. So we'll get very similar values, but in different spots. Sine, so opposite, will be negative 1/2, which is what cosine was in the previous. Cosine will be positive root 3 over 2, because it's going to the right. And then tangent is going to be negative 1 over root 3. So this is the one where we do have to rationalize, multiply by root 3 over root 3. And you end up getting negative root 3 over 3 for your final answer for that one. So that's kind of just a preview of what you're going to be doing later on with the unit circle and those angles. But it's a good combination of drawing angles and working with those special right triangles to help you get ready for that.